Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus again. I'm so glad to be able to stand before you today and thank you for clicking in on Eddie Marcus and what I might have to say for us this day. You know, the yesterday, 9/11, September the 11th, we had the celebration of, not really a celebration, but an acknowledgement of what happened 19 years ago, the taking down of the World Trade Center. This was a special day for me. In fact, it was a day that I was being released from the Minnesota State Prison. It was a wonderful day and a sad day at the same time. It was a time when I spoke about the same kinds of things that I speak to you about today, but I wanted to live according to, take those steps myself, individual steps myself, which means that you're basically challenging the system. And when you do that, you know, if you don't have the power behind you, that means you, the people, then you're going to be overcome. And I was constantly going to jail and ended up in prison and stuff like this. And it was all for the cause. But on this particular day is the day that I was being released from prison at the same time that the planes were going through the buildings. And as I recognized this, to me, I was being released from prison, but I was sad because in 2000, I ran as President of the United States, talking about the same kinds of things that I talked to you about today. I had to run naturally as a write-in. Why? Because the Republicans nor Democrats embrace any of these values of life for everybody. I'll explain to you maybe a little bit later. And so I had to run as a write-in. You know, I couldn't go out and, well, I didn't. So I just ran as a write-in. I give you the message. The message is supposed to be so wonderful that you'll grab onto it and take it everywhere you go. That's the way I would do it. That's the way I'm doing it. So I'm thinking you should do likewise for the benefits that you receive. Anyway, it had been a time that, you know, even today, let me use today for an example. They talk to you about conspiracy theories. And you hear people saying, oh, let's put that aside. That's like lunacy. Who could think about conspiracy? It's a put down, put down. So anybody who wanted to think about conspiracy theories would feel foolish for thinking about it because it's been so tabooed. So you don't think about it. And if you even do think about it, you keep it to yourself. Don't let anybody else know that you think about it. Well, there was a time in the 80s when I spent a lot, 80s and early 90s, I spent a lot of time checking out those conspiracy theories, trying to see what they were talking about. I'm a social scientist. You know, I gotta check this out. I gotta see what's going on. So I delved into it, watched what was going on. Some of the things that was going on, you verify, check it out. You see it was happening right before your eyes. Other people couldn't see it because they were they were trained or focused away from stuff like that. For instance, they talked about for years before it happened what was going to happen in the election of 2000. That was going to be something that was going to happen as far as the candidacy for the presidency and how it's going to come out. They even talked about the World Trade Center. It was all talked about. But the focus wasn't on that. You had to be crazy to focus on stuff like that. Why? Because it would be crazy to think that it's going to happen. And then what happened? It happened. And so now you're really confused. You don't know what to do. But you just go with the flow because that's the road you chose to go with. And see, what that basically means, ladies and gentlemen, is that there are people, whether you believe it or not, there are people who believe in that what you call a conspiracy theory. They believe that it's just reshaping. It's reshaping not just America, it's reshaping the governments of the earth. Right in your face under the title of conspiracy in a theory. And they put it down in your face. So when it is spoken of or thought of, you can see it as being ridiculous and push it to the side while at the same time they're building it up. You see, old man George Bush used to tell you about it, the New World Order. Ronald Reagan used to tell you about it, the New World Order. What do you think the New World Order is about, ladies and gentlemen? It's about controlling all of the people of the earth. That means controlling all of the governments of the earth. And how do you control the governments of the earth? By putting a leader up there over the governments of the various systems, various areas of the earth. A leader who doesn't give a stink about the people, who will kill their own mama and daddy. Get a leader like that, who will kill their own mama and daddy. Let them and help them work their way up into the power booth. And once you put them in that power seat, they will kill anybody that gets out of line. And nobody wants to die. They'll go into a war being patriotic, but standing up for their own basic human rights. They will not come together to do that because they've been trained not to come together as a people. And so they'll be at odds. And so what you do, you get a Putin in Russia. People gonna stay in line. Why? Because they kill them if they don't. You go to China, you put somebody over there in China. People gonna stay in line. Why? Because if they don't, they're gonna get killed. Go to North Korea. I'm just naming these places because you're familiar with these. Go over to North Korea. People gonna stay in line because if they don't, they'll kill you. They'll kill your own mama, brothers, anything. Stay in line. Now you're over here in the United States and you got Trump up there who will kill anybody. Why do you think these senators and people who you never thought would be saying the things that they're saying today, yet they're saying them? Why do you think they're doing that? Maybe they get some information that we don't have. Maybe they know that this thing is real. They maybe know that this man will kill you and them. And so they just want to get on the good foot. While we sitting back here talking and fussing about trying to beat him. We better be trying to change the world. They trying to take us straight to hell. We better be trying to take it straight to heaven. Like for instance, that's why I don't really talk about 9/11, because when I saw the planes going to the World Trade Center, I'm thinking, that's because the systems of the world are screwing over one another, messing over one another, abusing one another. And this is a result of it. When there are other ways that you can do diplomacy, there are ways you can be just and bold and fair and come out everybody beautiful. But apparently people don't know that. And let me give you an example. Here's a flyer, a brochure that I picked up today. It came in the mail. And let me just read it. You see that lady? You see it? You can't see it. Just check out that face. Check out that face. She says, the Democrats have moved way too far to the left, and that worries me. The Democrats have moved way too far to the left, and that worries me. On the flip side, it says, the radical left has taken over Joe Biden and the Democratic Party. Joe Biden has totally embraced the agenda of the radical left. The agenda of the radical left. What does that mean? Well, anyway, she says, as president, Biden would cut police funding. Why? Maybe we won't need police. Give 11 million illegal immigrants amnesty. Woo! Wouldn't that be magnificent to be able to help that many people make it? Woo! My goodness. Well, anyway, and health care, and raise taxes about $4 trillion, the biggest tax increase in history. Now, listen, here's what she says next. She says, that would devastate our communities and put our families at risk. Ladies and gentlemen, did you really hear what I just said? No, you didn't. Let me say it one more time. She says Biden would do these things. Give people amnesty. Give them health care. Now, in order for you to do that to these people, you got to first do it for your people. One thing they did not say is that you couldn't have it. No, they did not. You didn't say this in the statement. She didn't say that the Republicans couldn't have it as well. She just said that this is what he would give to other people. Now, you giving it to them, what means what? They need it. That's what she said. Now, what if you listen to what she has said? She says that would devastate our communities and put our families at risk. In other words, to make sure that other people got health care, to make sure that they got some basic standard of living, according to this lady representing the Republican Party, according to doing that would put your families, your communities at risk. So just make sure that your families, your communities are protected. And to heck with everybody else. While you sit up and try to deal with the voting rights. You want to interfere with the ability to vote. That means abusing people's rights to benefit from those legal things you say exist. And then when you want to take away their ability to play a part in it, and you still want to be their boss, and you've been doing that to black people and people of color for over 400 years. And today, even when you have told us how you treat us with George Floyd and Mr. Blake, you've actually, and those others, you've actually shown us. And you still want us to walk to your dictates some more. Not only that, you want to put a controlled hand over us, a dictator, one who will kill his own people. You see who is following him? People who are picking up their guns already, militias, people who will kill their own people because they've been trained with this kind of hate. And many of you just want to beat Trump. It's sad, just want to beat him. But for those of you who are with Trump, you win. Think about this. And you don't give a darn about the others. So what do you expect to happen? Do you think things are going to be rosy, cozy? Or do you think he's going to be able to put the military in the streets and get them to kill their own people? Well, they might not be ready to just kill their own people right now. It might be a process where it might take a little bit of time. The question is it worth it? Is it worth going through all of the changes that you have to go through just to beat Trump and avoid going to hell so quick? Take advantage of the moment, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, we are following the dictates of what you call the Founding Fathers. Founding Fathers who talk about all men are created equal at the same time while they were treating some men as slaves. You know what slavery means. And they call themselves establishing a nation based upon that kind of thinking. And that nation has existed for a long period of time. And that nation didn't just abuse people of color and black folks. They abused people who didn't have no money. They didn't care what color you were. And when they needed some extra stuff, they went out and abused others, took advantage of them. That's what conquering powers do. Is that right? Under the leadership and guidance of men who believe in themselves as being superior based upon their ability to manipulate. And how do you manipulate? You get people the truth and tell them enough of the truth that you want them to have, get them conform to it, and you violate everything that you told them to do. That's what you call taking advantage. You're teaching people to walk a certain kind of way while you're walking another way. If they walk the same way that you walk, the problems that they're running into, they wouldn't be running into them. You avoiding them. So if they follow the same way you walk, they should be able to avoid them too. But now you're leading them a certain way. And this, my friends, is the outcome. So I'm saying you better think this thing out, because you can have peace and prosperity and freedom and joy of life and the fulfillment of your dreams. And the number one thing is that you recognize that you are special. No more special than anyone else. No one is below you, but no one is above you but God. And God is a spirit. You can't see it. He ain't got no nappy hair or no long curly blonde hair. No, you can't see any of that. But he lives in, or should I say, the spirit lives inside of you. And you are a reflection of that God that has authority over you. And your expression in life and how it benefits others reflects the true God that you represent. Is that God just representing a race, a gender, or does that God represent the whole human race? That's what I'm talking about. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think I made my point. So I think I'll leave it there. Until next time. And let's say 21, 9/11. Will I still be here? Before I go, ladies and gentlemen, listen to some of my videos. Go back and check them out. I'm only talking about a power that you can't see, that we can't see, that have made itself known to me. You know, I'm not talking about something I believe. I'm talking about something that I know. And there was a time I didn't know it. So I know that there are times right now when the regular people, do not know that God exists. They believe it, they accept it for all kinds of reasons, but they don't know. See, if you know that God exists, then you will represent God, because you know that God has the ultimate power. The New World Order would not be about people killing folk and can control them. It'll be about people being free from other people and other people's rule, and free to live by the rule of God, which when it comes together through the people, it reflects the beautiful government that works for us all. So I'm just asking, let us change. I'm tired of being controlled by white people. You're tired of being controlled by black people. You're tired of being controlled by fear and poverty. You're tired of being controlled by guns. Let us free ourselves. Come on, we can do this thing. Let's do it. Bye-bye.